Thank you, Felicia.
Thank you so very much for that word. Good morning, heart and soul. I know it appears that I am standing right here, but I'm not. I am not. Do not be fooled because I am levitating before your eyes. If you can't see it, just more spiritual practice is required. Evidently, I am as high as I can be. Yes, yes. And I'm also just a little warm in this. I am telling you. I think this may be my sleep shirt. You know what I mean? Just to keep it close. What an amazing, I can't even say just the night, but let's celebrate the night. Let's celebrate last evening for just all it was for us. My sense is that to a person that was there in person, and it was live streamed as well, that folks were touched and left full to overflowing. Yeah, so it mattered not what one might have come expecting or what frame of reference they might have held in the process, yes? What I know is true is that there was something for everyone. Something for, and isn't that the way, sometimes the way I see heart and soul and what we're really up to is a mind map. Do y'all mind map? Okay. So if you can picture in your mind's eye that at the center of a mind map is the center of the idea, the purpose, the intention, the anchor spot. And for us, it's transformation. It's healing, all of which translates to the revelation of the divine. Does that make sense? I know it doesn't everywhere and to everyone, but transformation, as I am speaking of it, is absolutely the revelation of the divine. So that would be in one's finances, that would be in one's health and well-being, that would be in one's relationships as well. It would be in the entirety, if you could see your life, if you could just kind of project your life in your mind, is as a circle graph. And so in there are all the little aspects that matter to you in any way, shape, in every way, shape, and form. And it would be how you would address each of those. How would transformation in each and every one of those, how would healing, how would the divine revelation show up in your health and well-being, in your work, in your chosen profession, in your creative self-expression? Does that make sense? Yes. Yeah. So last night is absolutely on the map. Everything we're up to is on that mind map. Because where else could it exist? We couldn't be up to it if it wasn't a part of who and how we are. God, I hope that makes sense. Yes? Yes. So my talks, my message that I've endeavored to share with you over the past several months, and I'm sure there'd be somebody who'd say, girl, you've been talking about this for years. You just have changed the titles on stuff and you just got different slides up there. But it is the same message, and all I would say to you is you have peeped it whole. You really have seen through all of the shenanigans for presenting the same idea in ways that my prayers are edutaining, are revealing, are applicable. And that you can see something in each. Now, in the old church, I would just say each week. But I know some of y'all don't watch till whatever day of the week it is, and you watch a couple at a time. But I ain't mad at you. Just get in there and get it. The idea is that these principles that we teach and endeavor to practice are replicable. That if you accept them, and by accept I mean if you hear them in a way where you have a level of understanding, whatever that level is. I'm not saying you understand it at the level we're going to pass you the mic and you're going to teach it. But if there's something in it, sometimes it might just be a kernel. I might offer you 5 ideas, but there may be like a piece of an idea that you go, you know what? I'm going to try that. And sometimes I come to you boldly and say, I dare you to try it. I dare you to apply this in your life. I absolutely dare you. Hoping that might just inspire somebody like my life was inspired when I began this. Be like, what you talking about? I'm going to find out if this is so. And so I dare you. I dare you to find out whether this can transform your life, whether there's something in this that when you apply it, it transforms something that is meaningful to you. So to support some of that, now this is a creative way. Because for a while, during COVID, for the entirety of COVID, we did not have a choir. We did not bring groups together to sing for the obvious reason. And then coming back from COVID, we were slow on the uptake, because I'm not clear when we came back from COVID. And I tend to be, there's some ways that I'm very conservative. And sometimes the rules, I just get locked up in them and I can't see past them. And so I was slow on the uptake about bringing groups together, having them sing out loud with voices and breath and all the stuff that happens. Because I don't have to go. That's not the point of what I'm saying. The point of what I'm sharing right now is, could y'all see the tangent? Did it light up for you like it did for me and just beckon me to go there? Watch me exhibit self-control. Right back to where I intend to be. Look here, right. So what we are doing is we put together, and we have put together for the Easter season and for the Kwanzaa Christmas season and for our anniversary season. So for those years in between, we had some special things that happened and folks were masked often and, all the things. And so now we're just up to it. And thank you, Valerie Trout, for accepting the call to action and creativity. And baby, you bring it. You bring all of that. And so the choir is on. We put it together certainly for anniversary and now for posterity. Here you go, yes? And so they met this is a new week. They met last week. They rehearsed last week. They didn't meet. They rehearsed last week. And they'll rehearse again tomorrow and then ongoing. Usually on Mondays. I think there's an exception in there somewhere, but you're going to have to get in there to know. I'm going to ask that the slide be up so folks can know. You can always find this on our website as well so that you know, and use the website as a source. Not like you have to take notes or take a photo, but you might if this is of particular interest to you. And you want to sing because you understand the healing power in community singing and bringing your voice and intention, because we don't sing nothing that we don't mean. So if you get in there and you bring your voice and your heart and your energy and your movement, can you see that this is a full body expression? At the physical level it is, but also at the spiritual and emotional and mental level. And if you do all that, the healing process is on. So some folks think it's just choir and group singing, but I'm telling you, get in there for your healing if you really want to know something. Now, you may want to take exception, but I'm going to encourage you to not use this as the opportunity to take the exception. I'm going to invite you to do that a little later, but get in there and lift your voice towards your own transformation. And of course, anytime your life is transformed, that is moving the needle for the healing of the planet. You get that? All right, good. Okay, so that's that. But look, this is just, I feel like, we're forever baking baklava. There are just these layers and layers of goodness that are intentional. And this class that's coming up on Tuesday, you got 2 days to make up your mind and get in there for visioning. Why? Because 2026 is coming whether you are ready or not, whether you want it to. And so here's the thing. Visioning allows you to open yourself to the divine idea. And I mean no offense when I say, has your idea worked well so far? Is working with your idea for the rest of your life, for the whole of your life, for the full intentionality of everything that you intend to have on that? Because look, I know my people. I know my tribe. I know y'all got some resolutions you are waiting to trot out on January 2nd. This is after everybody's sober up and, And some of that will be from the holiday eating. I know my tribe. I'm just going to talk to you like we do. You know what I'm saying? And so once we sober up from the overeating and carrying on that we do, yes, let's just be true. So on January 2nd or 3rd, we're going to be busy doing the resolutions. And some of y'all are going to get right to the vision board. I admire you. Those of you who already have the vision, you're going to be cutting stuff out and pasting stuff up. And you're going to have all of that. And there won't be a divine idea anywhere near it. Unless you have tapped in. Unless you have tapped in and allowed the divine to reveal to you something other than your last good idea. Does this make sense? Yes. Okay, so the visioning process does not leave you to your own machinations to try to figure out, so how do I allow the divine to get in here? Because there's a lot of noise for most of us. When I was a kid, and this can be true for many of us, of a certain, yes, is that we had, what did we have, about 4 channels? 3, 4 television channels. Am I making sense? And it didn't matter how many you had, they were all off by midnight or 1 a.m. Yes? We are living in a world where it does not go off. So when I say the noise in our head, I'm not just talking about like our internal voice, because what I want you to know is that our internal voice begins mirroring and mimicking those external voices. Why? Because we hear them more than we hear anything else. And what you focus on most is what your life reveals. Yes, it becomes the nuts and bolts of your living, and most of it is under our radar, so we're not even aware. So this visioning teaches us how to kind of stop all that action. No. It's not teaching you how to stop that. It teaches you how to step away from it. Because you're not stopping it. That's not even a job I want to assign to any of us. The noise will continue, and they will find, they being whoever came up with an idea that rather than 3, 4, 5 channels, all of which will be off by midnight or 1 a.m., we now have 24/7, 365, which outnumbers any amount of meditation you're doing. Any amount of prayer, even if you are, the exception might be some monks. You understand what I'm saying? And this ain't that. And so what's happening for us is we are soaking it up. And this is an opportunity, this class is an opportunity for us to use another discipline, another spiritual practice where we can tap in so that New Year's resolution, if you still think that that's the way to go, or that vision board, or the intentionality of the year that you set in motion, that all of that is now related to, born from divine guidance. Yes? Does that make sense? Okay, so that class begins in 2 days, on Tuesday. And here's the thing. We have forever part of, so clearly the big vision is that we get in there and we get the advantage of that. The other vision is that we can stop calling on Reverend Angelo every time we want a visioning. Because he has become our local visionaire. And this is why we've asked him to facilitate this course, is because he's our go-to. And so this is like, come, Reverend Angelo, and like download this to folks in a way so that we become a community of folks who feel confident in visioning. Yes? And can support us when we want small groups to vision, that there'll be some other hands raised, and I'm not forever drafting him or threatening or whatever it is, or cajoling, whatever it is I managed to do to get him to come out to do it all the time. So be in the visioning, yes? Yes, yes, yes. Last night. So I just want to quickly remind you, and then there is that part in me for those of you who for whatever reason did not show up and you knew about it and could have been there. This will just be to titillate you. So look, this is, if we can just move, Sufi, yes, we go. Here, our band was what? Phenomenal, yes. Did they not just execute it all? Yes, yes, yes. And then our vocalist. And so we are, I don't know about Valerie Trout, but we're going to add this to her bio from now on because we feel like this is bio-worthy. So from now on, this is going to be on Valerie Trout's bio, whatever she is doing, anything around here. If anytime anybody asks me, I'm going to add it to it. So look, sometimes in the excitement, y'all might have missed some of the words. I'm a word girl. That this notion, but behind the vision for this is transformation. And so we know that through every storm, through every trial, our stories and our songs go on. A way of thinking of this is that our stories and our songs are our living. It's the way that we broadcast our living. Does that make sense? Yeah. We keep moving, don't we? We keep rising, we keep believing, we keep sharing. Would y'all read that part with me? We keep moving, we keep rising, we keep believing, we keep sharing. Yes, yes, yes. Music as love, our intention was to express, depict, illustrate. Music as love, as power, as identity. Our inheritance, my inheritance, your inheritance, our inheritance is an unbroken spirit. And we want to forever be in that awareness. Then once we got to the end of the program, there's no end to the music, there's no end to principle, there's no end to intention. So yesterday, last evening, was our celebration without end. And we closed as we began with joy, with spirit, with celebration. This music that we played was not locked in the past. It's frankly our way out. It's like our yellow brick road, if you will. It's divine guidance that we can see who we truly are, and some would say whose we truly are. Yes? It's alive. It's right here. It's right now. And what? It's in us. Let us rejoice together in the unbroken spirit of the music. So as the evening ended, the music continues. It lives in us, the rhythm, the voices, the memories, the steps. We live together in unbroken spirit, inspired, resilient, creative, alive, and what? Ever expanding. Yes, this is our call. And as Tammy said in one of the videos, the continuum continues. I love that. I love that. And here's what we're up to now. We had a slide that I'm going to share with you now, which is, but wait, there's more. Say their names. There was something about last evening that we built in, which was this vision of not just playing the music that an individual sung or had a part in, but it was to also share about that individual. There was something about who those individuals are and what they bring, because that was the fullness of it. And so we don't want to lose that. And so on our website, there's a page that's dedicated to For the Love of the Music. And the intention is, this is not a complete list, and it was never intended to be, but we want to honor those ancestors. And when I say ancestors, I'm not talking biology, because I claim Mother Harriet is an ancestor, absolutely. And it's by the intention of her living. It's by what I can discern out of her living that I want a part of. I want to have that level of confidence, that level of courage. And so I claim her as an ancestor who is representing those qualities, those abilities, those attributes that I am also committed to. Now, this is not a mountaintop ministry. So when I say committed to, I mean, sometimes I fall down and sometimes I'm like in fetal position and they have to bring the people in and help me get up. You understand what I'm saying? That there have been those times where I stayed down longer than any of y'all. And not proud of it, but there'd be no way I'd stand here and try to act like that didn't happen to me. It absolutely did. Fetal position, looked for the button, hollered, fallen, can't get up, and just stayed down there. People came, and I was like, no, I ain't ready. I'm still down here wallowing in, trying to be right about whatever it was, or whatever I thought it was, because it probably wasn't even what it was, in terms of how I was relating to it, because my sense is, now that I'm up, is that as I look at that, I'm like, girl, you didn't even understand what it was. You see, because it's a whole different picture from up here. Now, when you down there in it, it's looking like this is serious. When you get up, you're like, oh, I'm embarrassed. Don't show that part of it, because I don't know how that could have happened to me. How could that have happened to me? So this notion of saying their names is keeping all of this alive in us. Does that make sense? Yeah. So I'm going to invite you to visit there, offer us ideas. Now, I haven't figured out how the offering is going to happen, how you're going to be offering us ideas and how we'll do it, because y'all get mad when you offer an idea and we don't use it. So I want to minimize all that and still move forward in some way. So we have some things to work out, but the intention is that we really keep it alive, and it's not the job it's not my job to fill in all the pieces. That can't be the way this works, yes? It will be our collective vision and opportunity to do this. And so the other thing is a gift that I wanted to make to a gift that I gave to the band members and the vocalist are these T-shirts. And, folks were already loving and liking and carrying on. And so we're putting them as on our online store. Heart and Soul has an online store, and it's already there. So if you feeling like rocking it, I can't. This isn't, somebody else is going to have to show the back. Well, when Valerie comes out, they're going to show the back, but I'm not doing all that. I'm here for a different reason. I'm not like selling T-shirts. I'm just, see, now if I start modeling the back and twirling around and all that, it has shifted the whole energy of what I'm doing. So look, the other thing that I think is really important here is that we acknowledge the folks who invested. And so I'm going to ask Sufi to take us through some of this, because there was clearly the quartet I've already acknowledged, certainly all the vocalists, Sally Dew for the branding and presentation stuff. All of the video work was Reverend Angelo Allen. Stage manager Danielle Jennings was in there behind the scenes. Andy Robbins, absolutely. Stage hands, you saw Maud Wilson and Valda Earl Southall working it out. The costumes and props, Ernestine and me and Valda, we were all working that out. Live stream. It takes a village. It was a bunch of folks. So Deb was on the projection piece of that. Thank you very much. And then there were a couple of folks from OCSL, the sound person, Rain, was doing that. We had the house managers, the front of house, etc. I missed something that I don't see in here, but I pray that I just missed it, but it's here. Yes, that's what I'm looking for. Oh, here they are. I skipped over it. Thank God. The narrators. For a moment, because I didn't see it, I thought we didn't have it. So our narrators, the voices that you heard, giving life to the folks we featured, Pamela Grimm and Corey Hollis. Beautiful voiceover work for us. I'm so grateful. That was a vision that I held, and I knew we could do it, and I was so grateful. So often we see audio implanted in PowerPoint presentations that just don't work, and that was my fear. So they even showed up last night prepared to go on mic if need be, because we were just covering all of the bases. And I'm so grateful they didn't have to, but I'm grateful that they were there and that we are acknowledging them right now. Yes? Yes, yes, yes. And then, of course, a special thanks to the production team, because that's how we got here. So that was certainly Tammy and Dr. Valerie Joy Fidmont and Reverend Jack and me just circled up to ensure that the messages that we desired would be communicated. Yes? Thank you. Thank you. And a huge thanks to y'all for showing up, because a part of that was that we sold out. We sold out. Yeah. We sold out, and I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for the energy that was in the room. I'm grateful for the ripple that I am declaring that continues, because we're going to continue talking about it. We're going to continue fanning the flame of what's possible for us. And so now, Valerie Trout, my mistake, sorry. Valerie Joy is so ingrained in my life in ways. So forgive me, Valerie Trout, who was a featured vocalist in Unbroken Spirit. And she is with Cadence Miles. Thank you, Miles. With Cadence Miles doing Blackbird. Thank you.
I'll show you the back of my shirt if you guys sing along with me.
All right, good. There you go.
And I need some birds in here. Some wind, because we're going through the woods together. Do we have any trees? I'll give you a glimpse. Yeah. All those birds. Blackbirds singing in the dead of night. Take your broken wings and learn to fly. All your waiting for this moment to arrive. Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take your sunken eyes and learn to see. You've always waited. You've always waited for this moment to be free. Come on. Blackbird fly. Blackbird fly. Blackbird fly. Into the light of the dark black night. But oh Lord, let it Blackbird fly. Blackbird fly. Blackbird fly. Into the light of the dark black night. Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take your broken wings and learn to fly all your life. You've always waited for this moment to arrive. Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take your sunken eyes and learn to see all your life. You've been waiting for this moment to be free. Come on, blackbird fly. Blackbird fly. Blackbird fly. Into the light of the dark black night. We're walking, whoosh, the wind, the trees. Ooh.
Y'all will pretty much do anything. I see now. Y'all will be the wind, the trees. Who was being a tree? Oh, y'all, this whole section over here was being trees. I love y'all being the birds, the wind, the trees. To see the back of the t-shirt. I love it. Yeah, now you know, now that I know. Now that I know. Yes, I love that. That was Valerie Trout and Cadence Miles. Yes. Yes. Oh, I love that. Yes. So look, I'm not going to take a whole lot of time with y'all today because I already have. But look, there's some things that I feel like are essential for us to, as a part of the continuum of this message that is really around the truth
of who we are. There's something, I think, kind of in common culture, in current community, that has us perceive ourselves as separate. Separate from each other, separate from whence we've come. You know, I think this is just coming to me, that the Great Migration, for all the reasons that it was, separated, folks went away. And communication systems were not as they are now. So that in some cases, folks don't even know where they ended up, because everybody who left did not end up at the destination that they had in mind originally. Does that make sense? And so I'm not criticizing in any way, shape, and form this sense of separateness that we tend to carry with us. I feel like it's rooted in kind of the natural evolution of life. But that don't make it for our highest and best. And there are other practices, there are other evidence. There's additional evidence of just the evolution of humankind, that within it we see those places that are perfect. We see those instances that are perfect explanation for how our life got to be the way it is. But that don't mean it has to stay like that. Yes? And my sense is that we gather together because what we have in common is a desire for it to be different. That to a person, we are not wedded to the status quo. We might have been some of the abolitionists in whatever form. Some of us would have been writing. Some of us would have been hiding people under floorboards. We would have built our homes or remodeled them in ways that they would have hidden folks that we believed should have been whole and allowed to have a different level of access in living. Does that make sense? Yes. Some of us would have stood up courageously, just toe to toe, face to face, nose to nose around some of the issues. Some of us would have worked harder and made extra money so that we could donate and ensure that some of the programs that others were doing and the risks that they were taking could be financed in ways. I don't know specifically what we would have done. I'm choosing to believe that we would have been in there doing something. And more importantly, being in alignment with our highest sense of humanity and what's possible for us. So in my mind, and often what you see on slides is the best that I can do to articulate an image that I see in my spirit, and this idea of the unseen power within you is depicted here. I have this sense that the truth is that God is good, and that there is a divine reality, and that round, that ball in between God is good and divine reality is that space in which each of us is making our own choices. And our choices don't affect the fact that God is good, even if we're declaring it ain't. It doesn't change the fact that it is. And divine reality is not moved in any way, shape, or form by the fact that I'm choosing my own reality. And we always are. Out of divine reality, each and every one of us is choosing our reality. Now, some of you would be thinking, now, I don't want to believe that, because that would mean that I have more responsibility in my life than I intended to take. And that's okay. You get to choose. It just ain't the truth. The truth is that all of us, are living within divine reality. And in that, we make our choices. Yes? And how we make our choices is what I think I'm depicting with these arrows. That there's our reality, the reality that we choose for ourselves is shown in there, the manifestation of my current and desired reality, and I'm emphasizing lowercase reality, meaning personal, versus the uppercase R, meaning divine reality. Does that make sense in that distinction for us? Yes. So there are all these ways that we impress our sense of being. And any impression, it's the words we say, it's the thoughts we're thinking, it's our ideation. Now, these thoughts we're thinking, I need to be clear, these are not like the thoughts you had, like somebody just won some kind of lotto thing recently, just the other day, of several million, like 3 digits million. Now, in this group, I would just venture that the majority, if they'd seen that, had a thought of, oh, I wish that had been me. So that thought is not sufficient to transform your life. Because none of us had even had a ticket for that. So is this making sense? So the ideation of, God, I wish I'd won, in the presence of having never bought a ticket for that lotto, is not the kind of ideation, that's not the thinking that transforms your life. So when I say thoughts here, I mean the consistent, the thinking that cuts a groove in your consciousness. You know, like some of us are still thinking as 4 years old. Meaning that there is a message that was conveyed to your 4-year-old self, your 5, your 6, your 7, might have been on the schoolyard, might have been at a family reunion where somebody maybe questioned how you look and whether you look related or don't look related, or all the things that humans do. And you might have just somehow sucked up that idea and planted it deeply in your fertile consciousness. And now at 60, what's the never, you are still repeating that idea to yourself. When I say thought, that's the kind of thinking I'm talking about, where you have cut a groove, and that has become not just what you think, it has become who you are because you thunk it so long and so completely. You see, those kinds of thoughts, we haven't had an opposing thought. You have not yet considered that that's not true. I'm going to give you an example because this wore me out when it came to me, and many of you may have already heard this. We were at my godmother's home in San Francisco, and we'd gone over as a family, and that was like my little second place. That my godparents didn't have any children, and so now I grew up in a family of 5 girls, so, you had to claw for your space. But when I went over there, I was princess of the palace, and I liked that. And so when the whole family came, I needed them to know that they could. That they were visitors to the palace. And that in fact, I would be in charge of how much access they could have. And so I was here now they had visited before, but I think we were over for a little extended, like the whole day, or we might have even had nerve enough to be staying over, which I had not approved in advance, But I remember this time that we were in San Francisco, where the home was. There was this steep staircase that went to the back door, and then that led into the yard. And so we were negotiating. Several of us were going down these stairs, and I heard my father say, "Hold on, you're clumsy." Or something like that. I realize I've forgotten the exact words, but I carried those words for years. Now, some years ago, it might have been even a decade ago, who knows how long it was,
it finally occurred to me that I had been a dancer as a child, and I had been athletic and had been, and I thought, he wasn't even talking to me. I mean, it was a real moment. And I thought I had lived all of those, because this was in my adulthood now. And at that time, I was, they moved. So in that house, I could not have been older than 11. So I carried that, for a while. For years, suffice it to say. I carried that for a while. And it just, one day when I heard him say that to me, now my dad's been gone since 1999, but I heard it so clearly that, you better, and I thought, no, you're not. You have never been. You have been quite adept. I was just light up. No, that couldn't have been me. It could not have been. And I don't even care who it was for. But there's no way it could possibly have been for me. But I didn't have that editor then. I didn't have the presence of mind to challenge the thought. And so I'm asking you, what thought have you been thinking? And it may have come from such a credible source till something in you said, I'm going to take this right here, put it right in my pocket, because this has got to be truth. But what thought can you now, what can I say, what can I do, how can we be together that what you take away is an invitation to challenge your self-criticism? What could make a difference so that you could just hear another possibility? There are so many folks who, a part of their growing up, they received a message of unworthiness. And sometimes no one said those actual words. They were just held and responded to in ways that was their takeaway. And I've come to say today, let's challenge that. Let's look at that more critically. Remember, I told you before I had already come to religious science, but I was using it very much as Ernest Holmes said he intended, that it was an add-on. So I was an active participant in my church at the time. I was one of the lay leaders and was actively participating, but I was also taking religious science class, science of mind classes, studying those principles. And one day we were doing the doxology, a regular recitation that I had recited. I can't tell you how many times, because that's part of the process. Yes, that's just what we do then and there. And that particular Sunday, I heard these words: I am not so worthy as to gather up the crumbs under thy table. And I heard me gasp. I had never realized that that's what I had been affirming. And I don't recall now if it was every Sunday or how many Sundays it was just one. It didn't matter to me. I literally left the room. My body was still there, but I was gone. I thought, I challenged that was a place for me. I love the folks, but I challenged the ideology, the principle that I would be asked to and would engage among the other folks, church full of people. I am not so worthy as to gather up the crumbs under thy table, said I. That one time. And literally, some of y'all will understand if I said my inner me just lifted its finger and tipped out. I was still there because I literally sat down while they were still reciting the rest of it. And I recall that I held my head in my hands because I couldn't, in that moment, I couldn't even understand, what are y'all doing? Who are you? What are you doing? I want somehow to fan the flame of that awakening in you. That whatever it is that isn't serving you, isn't validating you, isn't lifting you up, isn't knowing the truth about your being, and isn't encouraging you to know that you would hear that powerful editor who does know the truth about you, that would at least say, is that true? Is that true about you, though? And then you would choose a different reality. And we'll be talking more ongoingly. This is part of my little permanent collection, if you will. So we're going to be here. We're going to continue to look at how our emotions and our feelings, because would it be okay if we're talking about thought. But I'm going to have to tell you, if you're just thinking it ain't going to be enough. Because until you feel it, feeling at the human level is what makes it real. If you don't feel it, it ain't. But thinking about it is a first step. Get in where you fit in now. Yes? Yes, so begin thinking new thoughts, thinking new ways, affirming other ideas and possibilities. And then at some point, you're going to bring that to a feeling level. I don't want to tell them that. Oh, Lord. Look, okay. And then we're going to go to an affirmation. Look, here's the thing. One of the things I realized about me, I'm sure y'all probably hadn't noticed this, though, is that see, there's a drag for everything. You know, there's an at-home, nobody gonna see me, and I'm just gonna kick back. There's a drag for that. It's not the same drag that I'm gonna come in here in. But there's a drag that is reserved for in here. There may not be anywhere else in my life where I'm gonna be wearing that drag, because the drag has something to do with the consciousness and the intention. So I realized some time ago, now it might be relevant to say that my dad was a designer and a tailor, because I try to use that like as an excuse for how deep I can go into this. But the thing is that I realize that in my design of my life, if I have a picture for something and I don't have a drag in it, I know I ain't doing that. If I haven't dressed me for that, I know I don't really intend to go. But that's like a self-realization for me. Do you understand what I mean? So for everyone, it's not drag. I'm not, okay. Some of y'all looking at me, drag means whatever I'd be gonna wear. Like the full fit. The full fit. You understand what I'm saying? Head to toe. I mean toe too. It's the whole thing. So see, that's how I check me. Like, yeah, I'm gonna do, but if I don't have, now I'm not presenting how you're going to dress is going to be the most important thing for you. It's not even the most important thing for me. But if I haven't included that, it's not real. It cannot happen. Because I know I'm not going naked. So if I haven't completed the rest of the picture, I know the picture is not complete in my consciousness. That part in me that's really getting ready, it hadn't moved. It's still on the sofa, on the futon in my case. It's still kind of kicked back. Yeah, we going, but we just get us some tea in the meantime. Is this making sense? Yes. Okay. All right. Because I'm wanting us to, so many things I want for us, which is why I show up and do this. Y'all would know if you really knew me that this is very strange that I do this. The introvert in me really questions, what are you doing? A lot. A lot. But there's just a larger vision. And the passion and commitment that I have to this means that my introversion steps aside while I'm doing it. And while I'm speaking to this, allow me to simply say that if afterward, if whatever is happening up here, however I appear, and I refer to her as her, she, if she strikes you a certain way and you're feeling like, oh, I would love for us to go to tea, you really wouldn't. Because she don't go to tea. She is strictly, this is her life right here. This little area where they put the tape. She gets to go to about here where she's still in the camera, to right here with a little tape line. Oh no, I went too far. To right here. This is her universe. If you, and I love the intention of it, but you invite me because you think this is coming? She ain't coming. I will come, maybe. I will, let me tell the truth, I will want to come. I will really want to come. I will really want to come. I'll be wishing I was the one who could come. But what I know is you're going to be expecting her. And you don't really want to chat with this one because she's not a really chatter. She doesn't know anything about small talk. Look up introversion. Her photo will be there. And I don't even know what I started out trying to say now. Ooh, talk about a little, ooh wee. But that's the truth. Oh, that's why I show up here, because this is what matters to me. It really matters to me. I probably look more social than I am. And spirit fills me in a way that it appears that I'm more gregarious and extroverted than I could ever be in life. For real. And I hope that there's some acceptance in that. While I'm here, let me just say, sometimes I feel the disappointment because I'll come down and greet people. COVID did a thing for me where it had me 3 years out of the practice of greeting a lot of people. And when we came back, I didn't know how to do that. It was terrifying to me. And I don't know if the look of terror was on my face like it was in my spirit, but I mean no offense. Sometimes it's just hard. I remember, now is this like, now has it turned into a true confessional? Have we moved from? Okay, I'm going to say this. When we were at 42nd Street, I remember, Michael Wilkins, I remember you saying to me that I would come down from the pulpit with my head down because I was making sure to avoid direct eye contact. I didn't know that. I knew that because he said, why are you coming down like that? I didn't know I was doing that. I understand it now, and I fully understand why I do it. But that helped me to look at what was I doing? Because up here, it was like, there is no limit on what I'll do. I'll dress up in a costume. I'll jump up and, I have double dutched up here. There are no limits to what I will do to convey a principle and an idea and to break through. But after I step out of here, I usually need just a little conversion time.
but it's not, and it's not personal. I do my best to greet as many people who want to be greeted. It might be helpful to know that it's very hard. It's a very difficult thing. For years, I learned to do it, and I could do it. I was much more adept. Now I'm out of practice. But not with this. This here, I don't have to practice, because Spirit gives it to me, you see? So look, here's where I want to end now that I don't even have no segue for this. But look, we still got, this is like, after all that, y'all still got homework. You know what I mean? It's like I may be the substitute teacher, however you would see it, but we getting ready to do some work still. All right, so look, there is, well, let me do the scripture. Let me do this quickly. We've been playing with Hebrews 11, the first and second verse. And what I want to implant about this is we were on this first verse. It is so well known. It is this nature of faith as the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not yet seen. Yes? So I want to imprint on your consciousness this idea about faith and how it includes this notion of hope. And then I had not paid that much attention to the second verse of this, which says to us, for by it, meaning faith, the elders obtained a good report, or in some translations, testimony. And the idea for me is that it's saying, which is why I come to you, throughout Black history and throughout always, sharing with you examples of ancestors and elders who have a testimony that I think we can use and benefit from understanding and maybe even applying. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. And so I also started last week with Romans 18. For I give counsel, or one version, this is the Aramaic, but I think I used King James last week, which said, for I reckon that the sufferings of this time are not comparable to the glory which is going to be revealed in us. And I want to drill that in. I want to drill this idea in because in common culture, you would be made to believe that the suffering is where the attention should be. And I'm like, the suffering already is. Since we know that what we give attention to expands, it would only be if we have forgotten that truth that we would be focusing on the suffering. Now, this is not an invitation to denial. This is not an invitation to pretending like you don't know what's going on. It is an invitation to not be at the effect of what's going on. Does that make sense? Yes. All right. So we're going to have to get into this another time, but just know that Romans 8, 18, 24, and 25 is where we're going to be spending some time. But since I'm not going to take the time to go there, I do want us to work with some affirmations, though. Ooh, Lord. Okay, let's go with this. The greatness seated in me is unfolding now. I trust, I'm going to read it, then I'm going to invite us to repeat it together. I trust the unseen. I stand in divine expectancy, and I move through this moment with the certainty of my ancestors. Now, again, when I say ancestors, they do not have to have any biological relationship to you. So I'm going to cite Mother Harriet for this notion of the certainty of my ancestors. My sense is that when she walked off the plantation the first time, that there was a certain certainty. You know, and my sense is we've all had a moment in time where we say, and I'm guessing that she might have, these are words I'm putting in your script, Mother Harriet, I'm not going to be a slave.
And I know that there are moments in everyone's life where we simply declared, I'm not going to be that. Whatever that is. I'm not going to be an abused wife. I'm not going to be a husband that. I'm not going to be a daughter that. I'm not going to be a son that. I'm not going to be a brother, something. I'm not going to be that. And it's just that moment where you stand. Not just get up, but you literally, your body moves into an elongated sense of itself, where whatever that is, now there's a lot of stuff I may be that I haven't yet had this experience with, but this right here, oh, I ain't gonna be that. This right here, this is not on my watch. We have a number of ways of saying this. For me, I often go to Gone with the Wind. God as my witness. I will never again be here. And whatever works for you, but each of us has a moment where we have that demarcation line, where we were once, maybe not even aware, but in this awareness, and maybe aware. We might do a decade aware and not like it, but then there's a moment and then you're like, if they come in here one more time with that. That is it for me. That's certainty. That's certainty that I'm going to apply to the ancestors. Yes? So let's do this together, please. The greatness seated in me is unfolding now. I trust the unseen, stand in divine expectancy, and move through this moment with the certainty of my ancestors. And so it is. And so Valerie Trout is coming back with Cadence Smiles. And Valerie wrote this song, I See the Value in Me. And it is about, listen for this part, reclaiming joy. Anybody here up to reclaiming joy? Yes. Reclaiming my mind. Anybody? Reclaiming my peace, my time, my community. And she sings, I see the value in me. Valerie Trout and Cadence Smiles.
I'm reclaiming my joy, reclaiming my mind, reclaiming my peace. I'm reclaiming my time, reclaiming my love, reclaiming my community. 'Cause I see the value in me. I'm reclaiming my hands, reclaiming my feet, reclaiming my eyes. I'm reclaiming my voice, reclaiming my body, reclaiming my beauty. 'Cause I see the value in me. I am full of love, I am full of light, I am full of compassion, I am worthy, I am kind, I am full of love, I am full of light. I can walk through the darkness and know I will be alright, because I see the value in me. I'm reclaiming my joy, reclaiming my mind, reclaiming my peace. I'm reclaiming my time, reclaiming my love, reclaiming my community, 'cause I see the value in me. I'm reclaiming my hands, reclaiming my feet, reclaiming my eyes. I'm reclaiming my voice, reclaiming my beauty, reclaiming my beauty. I see the value in me. I am full of love. I am full of light. I am full of compassion, and I am worthy. I am kind. I am full of love. I am full of light. I can walk through the darkness and know I will be alright. I am full of love. I am full of light. I am full of compassion. I am worthy. I am kind. I am full of love. I am full of light. I can walk through the darkness and know that I will be alright, because I see the value in me. Put your hand over your heart. Can you say that? I see the value in me. I see. I see. Get some eye contact with somebody and say, you, I see the value. I see the value in you. I see the value in you. Yeah, I see the value in you. Bring it back. I see the value in me. I see the value